Todd Fisher talks Leia's magical return in Star Wars Episode 9. That is the headline in this week's Force Friday show. And joining me as ever is Stephen to discuss all things Star Wars. That's Toddy Boy totally contradicting Kathleen Kennedy there, Stephen. Kathleen told us last year Princess Leia and Carrie Fisher absolutely would not be in Star Wars Episode 9. Much like before, she's talking utter shite. She is going to be in Episode 9. It's been confirmed. We of course spoke about this previously. JJ confirmed that the character will return, that they will be using archived footage, and Todd, our brother, has now came out and spoke about it and what it means to him. What is your thoughts, Stephen?
Yeah, we picked this up on slashfilm.com, John, where Todd Fisher, speaking about his sister, he said, "My sister and Princess Leia are the same thing." Fisher told ET Canada via "Coming Soon," and the idea of that story stopping and her not carrying forward is very disturbing to me. It's just awesome that it worked out this way, and thanks to JJ Abrams, it's just going to be, I'm sure, very magical and important to us all. After some of the decisions of The Last Jedi, where you're talking December 2016 when Carrie Fisher sadly passed away, we still had a year to go before the release of The Last Jedi. We spoke about this, John, numerous times on podcasts, and we've spoke about it off air as well in regards to Leia's role in The Last Jedi and what they could have done with a bit of clever rewriting and reshoots. You know, I think we both agree that the position and the actions of General Holdo, what she did, the sacrifice, could have been, you know, carried forward by Leia as the ultimate sacrifice. It would have put her up there as one of the galaxy's legends for doing such a selfless act. But that went to Holdo, and the rest is history. It would have been interesting to see Holdo carrying on maybe in Episode 9. I thought that was the way they were going to go when Laura Dern was announced that she would be appearing in Episode 8, and I thought that was going to be the mantle she was going to be taking into Episode 9, but her character sacrificed herself, and probably one of the highlights of the film, actually. It was a very well shot sequence. Yeah. And I agree with Todd Fisher here. He actually, it might have been a good year ago that he did say that Carrie Fisher would appear, and those reports were quickly quashed by Lucasfilm. I don't know who it was directly, but certainly Lucasfilm were quashing those rumours right away that no chance, this was not going to happen. We're not going to recast Leia, and we're not going to use CGI. And it really did make you wonder whether we're going to go with this. Surely not. They were not going to just put a footnote in the opening crawl. That would have been very distasteful, in my opinion. But thankfully, thanks to JJ Abrams, he's got a lot of unused footage from both Episodes 7 and 8. Don't know how that worked, because there's certainly an obvious physical change in Carrie Fisher's appearance in both, and I'm not just talking about costumes and hair. She looks more frail, I think, in The Last Jedi, sadly, and it'll be interesting to see how they're going to adapt this unseen footage into this concluding part of the Skywalker saga. But you know, I think Todd Fisher, I think he's speaking on behalf of the family here, that he's just, you know, he's very happy that JJ Abrams has come out with this, and I do agree. I think it's going to be a magical and important sort of part of cinema history for the Fisher family. It's going to be the final sort of swan song for Carrie Fisher as well. We thought that was the case for Episode 8, but thankfully, using the technology that's available to JJ Abrams, we are going to see her one last time.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest criticisms I had walking out of the scene The Last Jedi. The fact that they did have so much time between its release and obviously Carrie Fisher tragically passing away to come in and sort out the character's swan song. She should have died in Episode 8. They had the opportunity to go back and reshoot. They never reshot any of the film. It was filmed from start to finish in the production by Ryan Johnson, and then it went straight in the can, and that was it. Because I remember we were speaking about it, Stephen, and we thought this is a massive positive. They're so happy with all this trouble with directors and Kathleen Kennedy. If they've shot this all in one production and there's no tumultuous arguments or problems, then they must have a great film in their hands. Turns out it wasn't so great. It wasn't terrible either, but it wasn't great. There's a lot of things in it that have got the backs up of the fandom. That was certainly one of them. She should have died. I completely agree. They could have somehow made her make the sacrifice on the ship that Laura Dern's character, Admiral Holdo, did. That would have been an amazing send-off of the character. She went out with a heroic bang. She saved her resistance. that would have been the moment for me. Failing that, they could have reshot this Leia in space scene. She could have died in space. It would have been tragic. And I did say before, they could have played that into the character of Kylo Ren, how that would have impacted on him. Maybe turning us, going to the light. You could have really have played that into also his emotions. He's a very emotional chap as it is. Having the death of his mother on his hands, he obviously didn't act. His 2 wingmen shot. That would have been interesting, but they didn't do it. They decided to keep her alive into episode 9. And as I did say at the beginning, Kathleen Kennedy refuted Todd's claims that Carrie Fisher would be appearing in the film last year. Well, she was wrong. I don't know whether there's been a change in heart after JJ's come in, had a chance to examine some of the unused footage, and then decided that he can use it. Certainly we see Todd saying that here in another quote, that they arranged it, the script and what was shot, to bring her into the story in a way as if they had filmed it yesterday. Isn't that magical that the things she shot a few years ago are frozen in time, so to speak, and then they've been reborn into the final Star Wars, where she is truly the character that needed to continue. I completely agree with that. She had to continue. You were right, Stephen. You can't resign a character, one of the original trio, the big three, to a footnote at the beginning of the film. It would have been disrespectful. I'd have been in favour of recasting if they couldn't have used the footage, because you have to give the character a correct send-off. So I'm so pleased that they're getting it. I'm so pleased for the character and for us as fans that we're going to get to see some semblance of a send-off for both the character and Carrie Fisher. But more importantly, I'm pleased for her family as well, because they deserve it.
I think Carrie Fisher probably would agree with those sentiments, John.
Yeah.
I think she cared for the character so much, and I think that would have been, if not these unused footage from episodes 7 and 8, I think she would have agreed to a recast as well. Another thing that played in my mind as well is that I think maybe the Fisher family have forced a hand as well, because at the end of the day, they are the executors to Carrie Fisher's estate, and what they say goes. Now, I know that they got the permission of Peter Cushing's family to use his likeness in Rogue One, and some might say it didn't work. I thought it was very interesting what they did. A lot of it possibly is dated now, but just going back to my point is Carrie Fisher's family could have forced her hand here. I think maybe that's why Todd Fisher was very confident that Carrie Fisher would appear in the last episode, not using CG or recasting, because they would have been very aware of this unseen footage. And at the end of the day, Lucasfilm would have had their permission for her likeness, I'm pretty sure. I don't know the ins and outs of how this works, John, but they certainly would have had Carrie Fisher's family's permission for this to be used if they were going to go down the route of CG. Recasting's another thing. It's not likeness then, I suppose. But the other thing that sort of saddens me as well is that we're not going to see Carrie Fisher and Adam Driver interacting. It's such a missed opportunity in The Last Jedi. I can understand you don't know what's around the corner. Certainly didn't know the tragic events that were going to unfold that dark December day, and it's just such a shame. And as I said, it is a missed opportunity, but not intentional. It would have just been great to see mother and son interacting in some way. There was some scenes in The Last Jedi that showed the connection between them just before she was blasted out of that window, but it would have been nice to see, and it would have rounded a lot of things off. Perhaps General Leia was the one that would have redeemed them. Who knows?
Yeah, I totally agree, Stephen, that it has to have been the family that were pushing for this. But having said that, if the footage was unusable, then it would have been a bum note anyway. They wouldn't have been able to have done it. But I agree. You see, even at the bottom of this article from Slash Film, Todd Fisher saying that Billy Lord, obviously his niece, the daughter of Carrie Fisher, he says that she's really sensitive to the whole thing. We are sensitive to how things are done and why they are done, that this is one that you have to embrace with a big hug. So that would again hint that they're all behind this. I agree about the Grand Moff Tarkin Peter Cushing thing as well. A lot of people were criticising that at the time, how it was disrespectful to the actor. Utter crap, I'm sorry. If the family's behind it, then that's it. It's their estate, they get to say what goes. And I thoroughly enjoyed Peter Cushing in that film. It wasn't Peter Cushing, the digital representation of Peter Cushing. That was one of my favourite things. When I first seen it, I couldn't wait to see him come back onto the screen, because he's such an iconic character, and to see the backstory of this man and what he was getting up to, even a few days before the events of A New Hope, that was great for me. I don't know how they're going to do it, Stephen. I still hold out hope that they may have some archive footage of him maybe referencing Kylo and they can intersplice it in a way where he's maybe having a moment with her through the Force or something. I don't know how it would work. The other possibility is, we did speak not long ago about them archiving digital photography of all the actors that they have in their films. They could maybe use a combination of this archive footage, maybe put a digital photographic version of her from The Last Jedi onto the footage from The Force Awakens, and then you've got that difference between the appearance maybe sorted out. I don't know, there's a whole host of things you can do. One way or another though, I'm sure it'll be handled sensitively. I'm sure it'll be done well, because JJ, you can say what you want about the guy, but he knows how to tell a story. For me anyway, a lot of people criticise his storytelling. I'm not one of them. Thoroughly enjoyed most of the stuff he's been involved in, and I'm sure he'll give a fitting end to the character.
Yeah, we're just going to stay with slashfilm.com. This was, they've been very busy this week. A Star Wars without Skywalkers. Where should the galaxy go after episode 9? This is an interesting thought, John, and where Star Wars has to go after the Skywalker saga wraps things up next December. We've certainly got our thoughts on where they should go. One thing that I think is that I think they have to go back the way. I don't think going forward into the future, this is all set a long time ago, but you know what I mean, it's you don't want to go too far in front of the events after episode 9, because you kind of restrict yourself, certainly with novels and stuff like that and animated shows and all that. I think they need to go back the way, way back before The Phantom Menace, to the Old Republic. A lot of Star Wars hardcore fans, that this is the era they want to see. They want to see the formation of the Republic. They want to see these mythical stories of the Jedi, where they came from, how it all began, how the Sith became what they are, how they became extinct for a millennia. All these stories, there's little Easter eggs all throughout the Star Wars stories that reference the past. It'd be nice to go back. Saying that, I don't want to have a standalone Yoda film when he was a kid. Not interested in that kind of thing. I don't want to see too many films focused on the one character. That's one of the things I loved about A New Hope. It gave us these new worlds. You believed in these worlds were real, and the planets were real, that there was an actual planet out there made of sand, and it wasn't just in Tunisia. I just want to see them opening up this galaxy, and I think the best way to do that is go back and retell those stories that have kind of been hinted at throughout the Skywalker saga.
Yeah, I wouldn't be averse to that, Stephen. Taking a break from the Skywalker saga, as I like to call it, although there isn't really a Skywalker left, out with Leia, who's now a Solo, and Organa. But yeah, I wouldn't be adverse to them taking a break from it and then going away and doing a New Republic or an Old Republic, whatever the hell Republic you want to call it. Could go back 1,000 years, could go forward 1,000 years, tell a different story, and then that gets you away from the whole lineage and having no Skywalkers in it. Then we can come back maybe in 10 years and readdress it when they've maybe got a better idea of where they want to go. Certainly, I did find it interesting what they said at the beginning of this article, though, where they said that in the original Star Wars in 1977, you had just a young guy who had been orphaned with his aunt and his uncle dying. He had no connection to anything happening in the story. He was thrust into a wider conflict. He had no lineage, he had no sister, he was not connected to Darth Vader in any way. And then also after the next two films and then the subsequent prequel trilogy, it was all fleshed out. It had a greater meaning. So certainly, you could go back to the start, you could go back to the future here, and maybe do it with Rey now. Maybe tell a story that we could have seen of Star Wars where there isn't a big focus on lineages and interconnected family trees and good and bad. It's just a character that's not connected to anything, finding a way in the universe, teaching people the Force and whatever. And it's not get this overbearing connection to any past lineages weighing it down, because whenever you've got a connection to Skywalker or Kenobi or Sidious or whatever major Force family, you're going to have massive expectations bearing down on the filmmaker or the producers or the writers to get it right. So this will give them a chance to go away and do something completely different if indeed they don't want to continue on with the Skywalker heritage. Or you could, as we said previously, go off and do a totally different story. That's what I'd like to see. Take a break, but I think we will get that with the Bainoff and Wise and maybe even the Rian Johnson trilogy. I think that will be going and doing something completely different. I think they will take a break from this saga trilogy because it has been divisive, and gave people a chance to cool down a little bit. But I don't know, I'll continue reading this article while I'll let you and Stephen to give your thoughts on that.
Yeah, John, just come back to your comments on the Rian Johnson trilogy. I don't know, for some reason, I know it's not been commented anywhere when this is going to take place, but I've got a funny feeling that Broom Boy's got something to do with this, and I hope not. I hope Rian Johnson's not going to set his trilogy after the events of episode 9. I don't want to see that. I don't know what he's going to do. There's not a lot of information coming out about this trilogy at the moment. There was actually some rumours maybe a month or two ago that they were actually going to just bin this trilogy. So much was the venom after the release of episode 8. Thankfully not, because Rian Johnson's a talented filmmaker, and you know, I didn't like a lot of things he did in episode 8, but he did a lot of good things as well, a lot of standout things, a lot of bold things as well. But overall, it wasn't my favourite episode. But that's just the way it goes. You know, you can't please everyone, I'm afraid. It'll be interesting to see. But my thoughts are that Rian Johnson's trilogy might be set after the events of episode 9, and I don't know why. I don't know why that last scene was inserted into episode 8 with the stable boy. I get the sort of inspiration of Luke's final act spreading across the galaxy and it becoming the hope that the galaxy needed at that point in time. I get that, but for some reason I've just got this funny feeling that this is all sort of planting seeds for his trilogy. I hope I'm wrong about that, because I've got no interest in Broom Boy.
Yeah, I've got no interest in Broom Boy either, Stephen. I think he served his purpose. He was a visual representation of delivering hope to the galaxy. Anybody, no matter what their creed, colour, age, background, whether they were poor or rich, they could become a Jedi after reading the exploits of Luke Skywalker at the end of a film, and he's taking on the whole First Order on his own. That's enough. We don't need to see the guy or the boy popping up in the film after that. It's done. Let go of it, Ryan. Don't do it, please. But reading forward into this article, Stephen, they do explore a couple of interesting concepts. The other main idea they explore they could potentially fall after episode 9 is that of the Chosen One, something that's transcended through the trilogies. We had Luke Skywalker in the original trilogy. He was the Chosen One that was going to bring balance to the Force. In the prequel trilogy we had Anakin Skywalker. He was the character that was going to bring balance to the Force. He was the Chosen One. In this new trilogy it could be Rey who's the Chosen One and bringing balance to the Force. You don't really need to have any connection to lineages or Skywalker or anything like that to be the Chosen One. It could pick anybody. Obviously Anakin was born out of the Force. We don't know who Rey's parents are one way or the other, so there's no reason to say that she couldn't have been born out of the Force, and that's why she's so powerful like Anakin before her. So that's an interesting concept. That's another way they could go down after episode 9. Cast off the shackles of the Skywalker saga and just follow different Chosen Ones through different trilogies. I don't know how that would work, or whether it would have the same nostalgia and connection with fans of the series. I certainly wouldn't connect to it as much as I have done with the Skywalkers, purely because I'm a fan of Star Wars because of Luke. The other one they go down, the other potential route they go down is an American myth, they say, where it's all about capitalism and how it's expanded and changed and how people have changed their views, and we don't really care about Skywalkers now, some people don't anyway, and that they'll focus on characters of colour and different creeds and genders as the main characters, and that'll have no connection whatsoever to the Skywalkers. So I don't know, I don't care. As long as they do a fitting end to this saga trilogy, this sequel trilogy, we get a good send off of Leia and handle Luke's character a little bit better, redeem the angry old man we've seen from Last Jedi and give him some of the Luke we knew from the original trilogy, the more hopeful guy that was more uplifting and positive about life. Oh, he was a little moaning git as well on that, so I can't forget that. But there's a whole host of possibilities, Stephen. I hope we don't follow Broom Boy. I don't care whether they follow the Skywalker saga, it's dead to me now anyway. They've killed it off and it's clear they're going in a different route.
Yeah, John, just before we move on to our final topic, just staying on the final episode theme here, John, there was this talk, we were talking about this before we came on there, in regards to splitting episode 9 into 2 parts. Now this does work for certain franchise like the Hunger Games, Harry Potter as well, the final films in that series as well. This was something that I think I was doing the rounds about last week. I think it was just after we did our last Force Friday show, and it really does give you food for thought on whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing to split a story into two parts. Now, I don't think they're going to do this because, as we've just mentioned, Lucasfilm and Disney are desperate just to end this saga one way or another so they can move on to new projects. They've also got, the Benioff and Weiss stuff coming up, the Rian Johnson trilogy, the Jon Favreau stuff. They're all earmarked, they're all, circled in a calendar for pre-production and post-production and release dates and stuff like that. I can't see it happening because they've got so many things they're juggling at the moment. And then we've got the new animated series coming out, the sort of concluding episodes to the Clone Wars and Resistance as well. So there's a lot of things happening at Lucasfilm at the moment. I can't see them splitting this movie into two parts, although part of me would like that because I think the duration of The Last Jedi was, I think, the longest of the Star Wars films to date. I think parts of it did feel dragged out, as if they were just can't bite stuff, felt like filler scenes, just to stretch out that duration a little bit more. But part of me can't get enough of Star Wars anyway, and I would love to see another, Star Wars film that was connected to the Skywalker saga, but I don't think they will go down that road, if I'm being honest. I don't know what your thoughts are, John, but part of me would like to see it, but then another part of me just really wants to get this trilogy out the road.
Yeah, I'm conflicted as well, Stephen. I don't think they'll do it. I don't think, as you says, they've got the stomach for it now. They want to crack on with their own characters and own stories. They want to get away from the shackles of the Skywalker trilogy and the expectation it brings with it. They want the monkey off their back, so to speak. So I don't think they'll do it. Would I like to see it? I probably would, because I think they've made a bit of a dog's box of this whole trilogy, to be honest with you. They're left with far too much to do after the events of The Last Jedi. I think there's way too much to cram into the final act of this sequel trilogy. It's almost like the middle film in a trilogy. Well, we've seen the fall of the good guys and they have to have a redemption. But then Rey, as a character, hasn't had any real test. She's not had any real heartache. She's not lost a limb like most of the other characters do in the middle films. So she's been in a continual upward cycle. So I don't know how the hell they're going to fill it all in, how we're going to see the rise of Resistance being to a stage where they can fight, being at a standard where they can fight the First Order, how we're going to fit in Kylo fighting with Rey, how we're going to intersplice all of these stories. I don't know. I think they've left way too much to do, but that's not my job, that's JJ's. I don't think they'll split the film. They've done that with the Harry Potter series. I wasn't a fan of it, I've got to be honest. It was a bit of a cash grab. I think they could have just put out one film, maybe a longer film, and they've told the story a bit better. I wasn't a huge fan of the whole splitting the film at the end of the Harry Potter series. They never did it with any of the other films, and it just felt like a cynical cash grab to me. The films weren't terrible by any means, but it was totally unnecessary to split them up. And I don't think they'll do it with Star Wars.
Yeah, it was a bit like the Hobbit films as well. I think initially there were two films penciled in, and they stretched over a trilogy, Peter Jackson. But I don't mind the Hobbit films, but I do think it dragged on a little. I think two films would have been enough for that story.
Shortest book, Stephen.
Yeah, I was going to say, John, you've read the books, I've not.
Yeah.
You've your position on this is better than mine, but I felt as I get into those films, they just stretched it out a bit too far, spread it too thin, and I think that would be the danger in episode 9 as well. But we're going to just move on to, this is coming in from the express.co.uk, that's the Daily Express.
Yeah, they huff Star Wars, don't they?
Yeah, they've certainly got a few articles in there. I think there's some clickbaits in there. Definitely. But this one is Star Wars 9 new set image. Is this where Luke is? Will Luke's ghost appear to Rey? And the image itself, I'm looking at it now, I can't even get a bigger image of this, but it's predominantly a green screen sort of warehouse it's in, and there's a lot of mechanisms in there. I'm not really sure what this could be. It's certainly got the mosaic floor. I think that's a mosaic floor anyway. It looks like a kind of 1980s carpet, and I don't really know, some kind of yuppies carpet in there, but It doesn't really explain a lot. I don't really know where this story's coming from about Luke appearing here. I mean, anyone can really appear here. We could get R2D2 and C3PO walking down that little sort of aisle there. It looks like a bunch of sort of sci-fi streetlights.
Yeah.
But the image itself, it doesn't really reveal a lot other than it's a big warehouse with a big green screen, and there seems to be a kind of a brick wall going halfway up the left-hand side there, as if it's some kind of a temple they're in or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, this could be anywhere in the galaxy, Stephen. I don't know where they've got the Luke Skywalker thing from. I think they're clutching at straws here. I think they're trying to shoehorn the Prime Jedi circular design that was in the Last Jedi into the circular area we've got here at the end of a walkway. But they're clutching at straws. I don't see anything that even remotely suggests that there's a mosaic of the Prime Jedi in the middle of that. It looks like stones to me. It could be anywhere, absolutely anywhere. You've got these strange they look like metallic or rock archways. Again, there's not anything to suggest this is Jedi related. I think the more likely thing here would probably be that this is where we'll see Billy D. Williams' Lando popping up. It looks like there's maybe a ship at the back. It looks thin, and it may even be the Falcon. And also we have read rumours that maybe Poe, I don't know if there was a photograph of Poe, there was rumours that Poe may be in the Falcon with Finn. I think it was actually the first photo that JJ posted up. We've seen Poe and Finn together, so maybe they've took hold of the Falcon. Rey's off doing her own thing, and then they land here and we meet Billy D. Williams for the first time. And I keep saying Billy D. Williams, Lando for the first time in the film. I think that's more likely, and I do think that's what it suggests to me looking at the photograph. There was another photo as well. I believe it's the director of photography, Dan Mindle's Instagram account that's posting these up. He's actually posted up a short little snippet here, and it looks like a First Order ship, and it's panning around this big circular area. Certainly very reminiscent of the Empire's ships with the lighting, the really dark setting and the prominent white lighting. It almost looks like a transporter from Star Trek, this one. So that's quite interesting as well. Maybe this will be where we see the standoff between Rey and Kylo Ren. I don't know. It really could be anywhere, though. It could be used for a tiny little snippet at the beginning of the film where we see maybe General Hux barking out orders. Maybe we'll see a more serious General Hux in this film. I certainly hope so. But Stephen, these photos could be from anywhere. They could be involving any character. They're really they're clutching at straws here. I think what they do say in it though is that it could be a brand new planet for Rey, Finn and the gang to travel to, and it's pretty clear it is a brand new planet. I've never seen anything like that in a Star Wars film before. Lots of green screen would suggest that it's maybe going to be an outside area, and they're going to superimpose obviously the landscape images in the background onto it after in pre-production. But it's all very interesting. Stephen, one thing I will say, hell of a lot of lights here. As they say as Dan Mindle says in his little comment below, space light's unbeatable quality source of ambient lighting, 6,000 watts, 6 lamps, or 3,000 watts, 3 lamps. So he's having a little joke there, but there's a hell of a lot of lights here. So I just can't wait to see more of this coming out as the production progresses. I'm sure we'll get some interesting information. I think we've already got more shots of the sets than we did for The Force Awakens, so maybe JJ's stepping back from his whole mystery box obsession. We'll get more things. That's good for us.
I was going to say that, John. We're getting a lot more information than we did, a couple of years ago when we were, anticipating episode 7, and I'm sure we'll get more as the months roll on towards next year. Certainly, I think we might get a little teaser trailer maybe at the end of this year, very similar to the one we first saw John Boyega in. And that Andy Serkis narration, I think it was maybe about a minute long, that trailer. But no, you're right. I think this is the time that we're going to start seeing some leaked stuff as well, stuff that perhaps JJ doesn't want getting leaked, but this is certainly one of the deliberate ones. This is definitely not taken by a drone or anything like that. No. And because it's interior, a lot of people on set there as well. I can see like construction people as well. So it's certainly not one that's been leaked. There's a lot of people involved in this area that they took the shot in, so it's not something you can sneak in and take a photo and then think you're going to get away with it. But it is an interesting photograph in the sense that, as you said, John, the green screen suggests to me that this is going to be perhaps maybe the outside. I don't know if it's maybe Act 2. I don't know. Maybe that will cover the whole ocean area. Who knows? or perhaps maybe it's a flashback scene involving the Knights of Ren. Could be, I'm not sure, but it's certainly interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it actually looked quite like... I'm actually looking at the photos here, and I looked at some of the comments, and actually there may be an outline of lighter rocks in here that could be the Prime Jedi, so maybe I'm completely wrong. This could be the new Jedi Temple or Order where Rey's training a new batch of Force-sensitive users. I don't know. One thing's for sure, it's something new, and I'm always excited by new in Star Wars. Seeing new worlds, seeing new sets, new designs, new things. It's something I've always loved about Star Wars. It was something that gave me a buzz when I was a young boy, looking at the Star Wars illustration books and all the different weapons and the lightsabers. I grew up with the prequels, so seeing the pod racers and all the different characters, that always gave me a buzz looking at those. So the visual dictionary, Stephen, you've told me that I was struggling there. I couldn't remember what the hell the name was. I'm saying illustrations, but yeah, that's all something that's excited me. So this one is sure to be good as well. When The Last Jedi was a fantastic visual dictionary, and listen, I hope it is a new temple. I hope it's connected to Luke, and we get to see him appearing here in Force Ghost form. Because as I did say previously, Force Ghosts pop up and they're able to manipulate the surroundings more potently when they're in a place that's one with the Force and really strong. So hopefully this is a new world that's strong with the Force and we see a really powerful Luke popping up. But that just brings us to the end of this week's episode of the Force Friday show, where we discuss all things Star Wars. We'd just like to thank you for listening once again, and we'll be back next Tuesday with Box Office Chat.
Remember guys, if you enjoyed that episode, then do hit that like button, comment below, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. If you want to follow us on social media for all the latest updates from Movie Burner Entertainment, then we can be found on Twitter and Facebook at Movie Burners. You can also listen to us on Google Play and iTunes at the Movie Burner Podcast. And last but not least, if you want to access all the latest written reviews and the occasional article, then that can be found on our website at movieburnerentertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.